Okay, so with that, here we go. So yes, welcome to the SG property market, the news flash for March 24th. So I've actually put up some information with regards to SG property market to actually give you some updates. Standard disclaimer, so please take note. Again, this is for education purpose. So make money, be happy. Lose money, don't scold me. Okay, so some of y'all may actually remember during in January when I actually did the thank you webinar. I actually talked about where are some of the opportunities in the SG real estate market. So basically, just a quick recap. What we have here is this. You can see that for new launch prices, as you can see, the new sale. This is the prices. So even the cheapest, okay, we have District 70 about 1,008, but most of them are above 2,000 already. If you actually want to buy a new project today, it will probably cost you about 2,000 per square feet. So of course, this is per square feet. And this is the resale prices in the same district. These are the resale prices in the same district. So what I'm saying here is this, there's actually a huge disparity between the new sale and the resale. And the difference is there. And of course, I believe that the opportunity is getting into the resale. Okay. So the line of thought here is this. So in the same area, there are, let's say, for example, District 22, there are already people willing to pay 2,400 in that particular district. If you buy something at 1,003 today, okay, and you want to sell 20% increase, so maybe you want to sell 1,005, 1,007. Is it possible to find someone of this profile? And I think it's highly possible. Why? Because today you are already having people willing to pay 2,004 in that district. Okay, so that was a line of thoughts, and of course, I believe that the resale market now, there's a lot of opportunities given that there's a huge disparity between the resale price and the resale price. So for today's purpose, we want to dive a little bit deeper. Okay, it go to the project level. So where are some of the opportunities and how do we actually spot them? So basically, today, you can see this way, a new sale versus resale investment perspective. So of course, you can think of it at this perspective or try to answer this question. If you actually want to buy a property purely for investment today, which is a better option, new sale or resale? So of course, I believe you all will know my opinion, but I just want to show you with more data points to actually justify my conclusion, which I believe you actually know about it. Okay, so this is what I've done here. I've actually pulled out some data for past 6 months. These are property transaction data from the UR website, property transaction data. These are new sale. And I have actually ranked them in terms of the number of transactions. So as you can see here, Jayden. Okay, Jayden is at District 22. Okay, for information, for those who don't know, who are not familiar with District 22 is actually Jurong area. And Jayden is quite near to Jurong East MRT station. So this is the one on this date range, they have captured the most number of transactions. So all these are actually new sale. And of course, you can see that the Jayden average per square feet is about 2,476. So based on all these 329 transactions. So on and so forth, you can actually also see from a project level perspective. Okay. The number of transactions during this period and the average PSF. So to actually drive my point today about new sale, resale, which one have better investment opportunities, okay? So I'm actually going to dive deep into one of the projects. So I'm actually using Jayden. So given that he has the most number of transactions, Jayden as a reference point, okay, to actually compare whether, new sale, resale, which is actually better investment opportunity right now. So of course, if you actually go by the map, in terms of locality, a very comparable project is J Gateway Condo. So just to orientate you guys a bit, this is the Jurong East MRT station. So Gem is here, as you can see. So Westgate is here. So J Gateway condo is just right here. And Jayden is down here. So you can see that it's actually within very close proximity to Jurong East MRT station. So of course, Jayden is the new launch and J Gateway is the resale project that I actually use for comparison today. Okay. Now, I actually took the transacted prices for past 1 year. Past 1 year transacted price for comparison. So J Gateway is the resale. Okay, so down here, I actually dive in to be quite specific. Quite specific, as you can see here. I actually only look at a property of about the same square feet, about the same area. Okay, within the project. So like for example, this one is about 900 square feet. So J Gateway, the resale one, 99 years. Average per square feet, as you can see, 927. And the average price is about 1887. Okay, 1887. Whereas for Jayden, the new one, the new launch, interestingly, in fact, their land is from some time ago. So their tenure is in fact shorter. So 99 years from 1991. So the developer probably got the land, but whatever reasons did not develop. Okay, so until now they actually start developing. So average area 98 now, and they're actually selling 2458. Okay. So J Gateway, if you actually talk about those smaller units, these are likely to be studio units of 1 bedder. The resale one, okay, average price per square feet is about 1933. Whereas the Jayden, the new sale, is the average PSF price is actually 2510. So if you actually do the sums, okay, you take the difference. Okay, if you're actually going to buy a new launch in Jurong, you are actually paying about 30% premium. 30% premium to the closest competitor. So the question here is this, is it worth it? From an investment perspective, does it still make sense? That's the question I'm actually trying to answer today. Okay, so hope everyone's in line. Okay, so how I try to compare or try to make sense of this number here is this. So of course, if let's say from a purely investment perspective, I'm bet to make profit. So let's say I target 20% profit, 20% return. So basically, if J Gateway I buy at 1887, I actually need to sell 2264, okay, to make a 20% gain. Whereas for Jayden, if I actually want to make a 20% gain, I actually buy at 2458. I need to sell at 2949. Okay, so my point here is this. Is it possible for me to sell at 2264? No, I think it's likely. Why? Again, based on the principle that today, we already have people who are willing to spend about 2458 to buy properties in that area. Okay, so 5 years later, when things have inflated, of course, inflation is going to continue. 5 years later, I actually want to look for people who are willing to pay only 2264. Can I find out? Okay, so based on this theory, of course, it's just a theory. But I think based on this theory, yes, I can find, because today I already can find people who is willing, who is actually afford to pay 2458 for project in this area. Okay, so using this line of thought, so the question here is this: am I able to find people who are willing to pay 2949 5 years later, okay, to buy a project in Jurong, District 22? So basically spend about $3,000 per square feet to actually buy a resale property in Jurong, District 22 5 years later. Can I find such people or not? Okay, I don't know. But it's definitely not tested. So today, anyone actually spend about $3,000 per square feet to buy a project in Jurong? Answer is no. It's not tested. Unlike Unlike, like, for example, the first case, can I find 2, 2? Yes, today there are already people like that. But today, do we have people? So answer is no. Okay, it doesn't mean that I cannot sell 294 now. It's just that that's not proven. Okay, so hope you understand my line of thought. So the point I'm trying to drive at here is this. Okay, the question here is asking, can I find a buyer to pay for this price 5 years later? For J Gateway, I'm actually quite confident based on the fact that today there are already such people who are willing to pay that price. Whereas, 2949, I don't know. Okay, it's not tested. I'm not saying that it cannot find, but it's actually not tested. Not tested. Also, this is one way for me to compare to see whether, hey, which is a better buy from an pure investment perspective. Okay, so let me go on. So if let's say we actually talk about capital gain perspective, okay, capital gain perspective, in terms of the quantum lah. So let's say, for example, now what I'm actually comparing here is this. Let's say I just want to make $500. Okay, $500. So assuming, okay, I'll put it this way, I actually buy the project. Okay, once the project price per square feet increased by $500, I'm willing to sell. So if I am actually buying at 2476, okay, and increased by $500, okay, property price increased by $5 per square feet, is only a 20% increase. It's only a 20% increase. So compared to, let's say, for example, I buy something cheaper. Let's say, for example, lakefront residence. Okay, today I'm buying at 1572. Okay, almost $1,000 cheaper. And if I can actually sell at a $5 per square feet profit, my gain is actually 31.8%. Okay, so again, coming purely from an investment perspective, if let's say all we target is a $500 per square feet profit, okay, if you're paying at a smaller quantum, of course, your return is actually going to be higher. That's my point of view. And having said that, so what about in terms of probability? So same theory as before, 2476, if I want a $5 increase, I'm actually selling 29. Again, it's not tested. But if I buy lakefront residence today, I'm paying about 1572. I want to sell at 2000. Is it possible or not? Okay. So based on, can we find people with $2,000 per square feet budget? I think it's more likely. I think it's more likely. Okay, so hope you actually can grasp my line of thoughts. So of course, feel free to comment, question later after I present all the facts to you. Okay, so let me just continue. Okay, of course, you can argue that, Jayden is definitely in a better location. You're talking about Jurong, next to Jurong East MRT station with all the perks and so forth. And lakefront residence, is actually, location-wise, actually not as good. But hey, how bad can it be? This is Singapore, it's so small. Lakefront residence is also very near to an MRT station, Lakeside MRT station. Okay, it's not like it's out of nowhere. So two stops away. Okay, 2 MRT stops away, you're talking about a price difference about $1,000 per square feet. And if you ask me, a probability of increasing 500, I think lakefront residence has a higher probability. Okay, of course, I could be wrong. Okay, but I believe has a higher probability. So in terms of, okay, so even both of them increase by 500. So I think lakefront residence is actually a better buy. Okay, because in terms of percentage increase per quantum, okay, is actually higher. So again, if let's say, for example, you are have questions, comments, you can either wait for later or you can actually key into the chat. Then we can actually discuss later. So what I'm trying to say here is this, if let's say we talk about new sale versus resale, okay, from a pure investment perspective, okay, if we just measure by risk return, okay, which one has a probability of getting that return versus the risk involved? I think resale seems to be a better option. Okay, but please don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean that the new sales cannot make money, but if you actually just measure in terms of which one is higher risk, okay, of course, I think new sales have higher risk. Which one can probably better return? I think resale can reap better return. Okay, as per what I've actually shared just now. Okay, I believe resale property is actually makes more sense. Okay, but then doesn't mean that new sales cannot make money. Okay, so of course, we don't just buy property for pure investment perspective. So some of us actually buy because we need to stay. We need to stay. So let's say, for example, wow, I really like that place. I want to stay new. I want to buy new property. I don't like resale property. Returns are not my main consideration, but of course, I also don't want to lose money. Is it worthwhile to also still consider the new sale? So here are some of my pointers. So we can actually discuss more later. Okay, we can hear from opinion later, but maybe just let me run through some of my pointers first. How do you actually make this decision? Given that, yes, I know that resale now is a lot cheaper. I know that resale maybe makes more sense investment, but I want to stay new. I don't want to stay old. Okay, so is it still worthwhile to buy new? Okay, so some of the pointers are. Okay, number one, personally, okay, I believe that the price may be sustainable. Okay, what I mean sustainable here is this, okay, I don't think that the price will drop. Whether it will go up or not, I don't know. Okay, but I don't think price will drop. That's the meaning of sustainable. Or you can actually think of it this way, okay? That means I don't think that it's overvalued. I don't think that we are now in a bubble situation whereby price shoot up like crazy in a bubble situation and it may just burst any point in time. Okay, I definitely don't think so. So why I don't think that? So number one, the question here is this: why suddenly there is a new surge in prices? So I can actually find reasons for new surge in prices. So I actually talked about this before in the previous session. Okay, I just again repeat it very quickly. So number one, because the price actually went up quite crazy recently because there is a new group of demand. Okay, there's a new group of demand. So you can actually see here over the span of past 9 years, the share of new private home buyers aged 26 to 35 surged from 9% of all new private homes in country in 2015 to 35%. Okay, so what they're saying here is this, in the past, if let's say you are 35 and below, very unlikely you are buying new property. Very unlikely you are buying condos. Whereas now, today, those aged 35 and below, they are actually buying condos, more than buying condos. So it's not like, okay, demand has been very similar, then suddenly price go up for no reason. No. Okay, one of the reasons why the prices have been dropping because we have a real demand. There's this new group of people buying condo. Okay, so that's why if let's say the price go up because of a such a demand, okay, in that case, I don't think it's overvalued. I don't think it's a bubble situation. Okay, so this is one reason why I think that the price may be sustainable. Okay, second reason is this. I've been maybe I don't know. A lot of people say that maybe I'm oversensitive, but this is how I read it. Okay. So now we know that Singapore and China reached agreement on the mutual 30-day visa-free entry. So to me, this is very significant. I don't think it just affects the tourists. I believe that, okay, with this new policy, more Chinese are willing to come to Singapore to set up offices. Okay, it makes sense, right? So in the past, if let's say, I'm a China company, I want to set up office in Singapore, my staff want to fly to Singapore to have a meeting. They cannot just decide overnight. They cannot just today discuss decide, hey, tomorrow I go down. Cannot. So last time is I still had to apply visa, but now they can. Okay, now, like for example, we discuss, okay, strike a deal, let's go. Then immediately can fly in already. So I think this one will actually encourage a lot more business between Singapore and China. Then of course, this will sort of have a demand for Singapore property lah. Okay, so in that sense, with these two main reasons, I don't think that's we are in a bubble situation for property. And of course, from that perspective, I think the price will actually be sustainable. Price will actually be sustainable. Okay. The next is the interest rates. So what you're actually seeing on the screen here is this. The fixed rates. This is the fixed rate. This is a floating rate, and currently the fixed rate is lower than the floating rate. So this actually suggests that the interest rate is going to come down. When your fixed rate lower than the floating rate, that means you're encouraging people to actually take the fixed rate. Okay. So it's actually a suggestion that, hey, you know, the interest rate may come down. So again, of course, if interest rate will come down, it will drive demand. Okay, so in that sense, I think that the price may be sustainable. Okay, given that, okay, what drive up the price is actually real demand. Okay, it's not that, you know, for whatever reason, price shoot up for no good reason, but there's a real good demand. And at the same time, we actually expect more demand to come in. Okay, so I think that the price will be sustainable, unlikely to go down. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so to basically summarize what I've shared in the previous 3 slides, okay, what I'm trying to say here is this: I don't think that the current price is overvalued. So even you're talking about $2,000 plus, okay, Jurong still not too bad. So certain areas are District 26. Yeah, I think some of you don't even know where District 26 is. Okay, also $2,000 per square feet. Some, you know, really more of the what they call the OCR, also in 2,000. Okay, but I don't think that the current price is overvalued. Okay, which means I don't think that price will drop, but I am not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if the price will increase. Okay, so this is one conclusion I have for those who actually buying for own stay. If you think that you insist on to buy something new, hey, maybe it still makes sense because, hey, the price today, I personally think that unlikely for it to drop. Now, but if let's say, for example, you want to be safer, okay, you want to be safer, if you actually want to buy new launch, if you don't mind paying for the higher price, relatively speaking to the resale price, or you want a better chance for the price increase, so every project you buy, they should have these two components. One is, of course, the growth story. Okay. This Jayden is actually a very good example. So Jayden is actually in Jurong. So Jurong, we're actually still talking about our second CBD. We never know. We never know. The high-speed rail, high-speed rail story may actually come back. And of course, Jurong itself is now actually developing in a actually very nice business hub. So you have a lot of offices coming up. You have a lot more vibrancy in actually that area. Okay. We never know. Maybe 5 years later, it actually developed into a more prominent second CBD. So there is actually a very clear growth story down there. So that's what we call a growth story. If you really want to buy a new launch, okay, so try to go for projects with very clear growth story. Okay, and of course, if possible, with a very key USP. What does USP stand for? USP stands for unique selling point. Okay, like in this case, Jayden is very close to Jurong East MRT station. So far, those projects that are actually near to MRT station, their growth potential is actually there. Okay, so for whatever reasons, if you actually can look at Boon Lay, the project that is almost on top of Boon Lay MRT station. If you actually look at Bedok, the project that's right smack next to MRT station, so far, you know, they are all well loved. Okay, they have very good appreciation. Okay, so again, if you actually want to buy new, so you have to look for projects, you know, with these two criteria. One is they're in a growth story. Okay, next is that is a very clear USP. Now, Another reason to actually buy a new launch is that you are actually confident that the real estate market will do well. So in a good real estate market, okay, the new launch may actually enjoy a better price appreciation. Okay, why is that so? Because they don't have this neighbor sabo effect. I cannot find a better term, so I use this thing called neighbor sabo effect. Now, we all know that now, okay, the real estate market is getting more and more transparent. Of course, it's definitely nowhere near efficient yet, but it's actually getting more and more transparent. So if you were to go to like, you want to know roughly what is the price of certain project, you just go to Property Guru, you can see, okay, J Gateway, two-bedder is about 1.4 million. You know how much your neighbor is actually selling, assuming you own the project. Okay. So if let's say you buy the new launch, okay, all your neighbors pay about same price, 2,500 per square feet. So nobody will sabo you lah. So let's say, for example, you actually buy something 2,500 per square feet. Probably you want to sell 3,000, for example. Okay. So your neighbors will actually think about the same. So all of you when you by the time you sell, when you go advertise, you actually put about $3,000 per square feet. And if someone that really want to buy, no choice, they have to pay 3,000 per square feet because there's no way to actually buy. Nobody is actually willing to offer lesser than 3,000. But whereas when let's say for example, okay, let's say for example you buy a resale, okay, you buy at 1,500 per square feet, and assuming that your neighbor actually bought it at $1,000 per square feet, okay. So let's say for example now if your neighbor want to sabo you, say, hey, actually, I sell 1,004 can already. And in the Property Guru, I actually put 1,004. So you buy 1,005, right? Then you actually want to make $200. You actually want to actually sell at least 1,007. But your neighbor put at 1,004. So of course, which unit will get sold? Your neighbor. For obvious reason, right? So same project, one selling 1,007, 1,004. Of course, people will actually buy the 1,004 one. So that sense, when you really want to sell, you no choice. You have to see what your neighbor, and if let's say your neighbor buy at a lot cheaper price, you have to follow them. So that is what I call the neighbor sabo effect. I can't find a better term. Maybe let me think of a better term, which happen to resale but doesn't happen to new sale. Of course, this only makes sense during a good market. During a good market, whereby people are able to hold or want to make good profits. Okay. I'm not new launch there also can be a case whereby no choice. They end up in a bad market. Then I cannot hold anymore. They may actually still sell cheaper. Okay. So that aside, good market, new launch don't have this neighbor sabo effect. And hey, in fact, it may even have a higher potential for capital gain. Okay, so this is good for those who actually thinking of once it hit TOP, quickly want to sell one. Or at least have that option, or want to consider an option. Then maybe new launch is actually still good for you. Because of this don't have this neighbor sabo effect. But of course, the caveat is that you must believe that at the point it TOP, the market is actually still good. Okay, and let's say, for example, okay, you so decided, yes, I am actually going to buy new launch. I just want to stay in a new place. I don't want to stay old. Okay, maybe one final test to ask yourself, do you really like new so much? Okay, like what I have done here is this. Okay, you look at Jaden, you're actually paying about 2,548 per square feet for a new launch. And Jaden is a 99-year-old property, as you can see here. Okay. And today, same point in time, if you go to District 9, District 9 is where Orchard, River Valley Orchard, freehold properties, of course, all resale. Freehold properties about the same price. Okay. So basically, if you want to buy new at Jurong, 99 years, for the same price tag, you could have buy a freehold property in District 9, Orchard, River Valley. Okay, the only thing is resale lah. So my point here is this is actually possible to get a D9 freehold with the same price. Of course, y'all can say a different unit, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I'm actually just doing a tabletop exercise, which makes it possible. But after doing this exercise, you still prefer the new launch. I said, congratulations, you have actually found your dream home. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, great. Good timing. So basically, this is what I'm trying to share. Overall, I think from a pure investment perspective, I think resale property today make a lot of sense from a risk-reward perspective. So given that now there is a quite huge price disparity, okay, and of course, given that, okay, huge price disparity, and given that, hey, when the price go up by the same quantum, okay, in terms of return for resale is actually higher. Okay, I think it actually makes more sense to buy a resale from a pure investment perspective. But of course, if let's say for own stay, okay, I also think that the buying new launch today makes sense. Okay, so number one point is I don't think that the price will drop. Okay, based on the fact that I don't think it's overvalued. Okay, I don't think price will drop. And of course, if you ask me, for homestay, having a home is more important than returns. Okay, having a home is actually more important than returns. So I have actually seen people buying for own stay, and yet they only have investment consideration. In the end, I don't, in the end, I don't think they actually stay in a very happy manner, put it that way. Okay, I don't think they are actually staying happily together. Then mix up, your family not happy, then that defeat the whole purpose. If let's say a new launch is what your family like, what your family is going to be happy with, okay, I think today still makes sense because I don't think that the price is actually going to drop.